Alright guys, hello, welcome to the video. This is going to be the first one I'm showing you in EBR 105. I have never played this vehicle up to this point. I have played the wheelies quite a bit actually, just never the 105. And the 105 is the fastest one. I would argue it is the most powerful one in the game pretty much, just because of its speed. It does have good damage per shot, and if you know how to drive these things, you're going to perform pretty well on them. The issue is driving them, right? Because the game mechanics are quite a bit different, right? You have to actually slow down sometimes when you're going over ridge lines and stuff. You also have to slow down when you're coming up to a bush, right? Let me rephrase this and try again. When you're coming up to a bush, you actually have to slow down earlier than you would in any other tank. Because what I find in this vehicle is I will literally go past the bush and then realize I went past the bush and have to back up, right? Like on a ridge line or something like that. It's just, this thing is so fast, it's almost too fast for its own good, right? So keep that in mind as well when you're pulling up to a bush. Like, understand how fast this thing is, and it's like the brakes almost can't even keep up with it, right? So we're going to be on Studsy Yankee, by the way, guys. This is an all-10 game. I'm pushing the Foch here. I'm pushing this ridgeline here, whatever you want to call this little valley, you know, creek. I don't know what the heck people call this, but the dip, right? Everyone really just calls it the dip. And we sent so many people this way. I want to try and take advantage of that. Trying to hit the 105 here. But yeah, the damage per shot on this vehicle, 390. It hits hard, man, right? It hits harder than the T100 LT, but the DPM isn't quite there in terms of where it is on the T100 LT. So I do overall prefer the T100 LT more than this vehicle. I'll give you guys my camera view as we kind of talk here. But overall, I have to say that this thing does have its benefits when it comes to moving around the map very quickly. And what I would give you guys advice on specifically when it comes to the wheelies is just play the tank like a normal light tank until you need to use its mobility, right? A lot of people just run out there and they try and do all these donuts too fast, and they just drive around and think they're never going to get hit. And while the wheels will eat a lot of shells with this vehicle, you don't want to play like you're invincible, right? Some people can get away with that, maybe more than others, but I find that every time I try and do something where in the back of my mind I'm like, this is too risky, this is stupid, it ends up being too stupid and too risky, and I end up paying the price in either my life, you know, or I end up having no HP for the end game, right? And so what I would really encourage you guys to do is just play this vehicle like a normal light tank. Play it how you would play any other light. Like, that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm playing it like any other light. I do run this thing with bounty optics and bounty vents to get enough view range. I might even have it with bounty, or I'm sorry, what's it called? The not experimental, improved vents and improved optics now, or whatever the heck it's called. Bond vents, I think it's called. And bond optics. So I think that's what I now run on this thing. I get so confused with the bounty and the bond equipment. But basically the bond equipment gets you like an extra 1% on your vents, and I think it is like pretty much an extra 1% on everything, right? So the optics is like 13.5% or something wild, whereas on the bond vents or the bounty vents it's 12.5%. So all these equipment names, man, like, you know, this is the way wargaming has made it, where you have a bunch of different types of equipment now. It's basically the same thing, but you have like 3 levels of equipment. And yeah, the one issue with EBR 105 that you have is the view range, right? You're going to have a problem with view range compared to other light tanks, just because if this thing had like 500 meters of view range, it would be so freaking OP, man. Where, you know, you wouldn't actually have to get any closer to enemies to spot them. In this vehicle, they want you to kind of play it a little more aggressively at times, because that's what it can do, right? And if it could do everything a light tank can do, a regular light tank can do just as well, plus have this mobility and this ability to like literally spin, within a second you can literally do a donut in this thing. It's so unrealistic, but if you had the ability to do that and the thing played like a regular light tank on top of that, yeah, I mean, that would be ridiculous, right? So this game gets very good, and I will just spoil it for you guys. This ends up being a loss. I will tell you it was a loss. But I want to show you this game in particular to kind of show you where a tank like the EBR 105 is actually going to stand out compared to T100 LT, Manicore, AMX 13105, etc. Um, because especially when it comes to, I would say, like the Sheridan and the RHM, because they're more aggressive light tanks, um, you might be able to kind of play them like the 105, but the thing with the 105 is that it actually has really good concealment on top of everything else too, right? So we end up spotting the FE 4005 here, and I'm going to show you where I kind of start using my mobility, right, to my advantage. Now, keep in mind, I could be doing all this in a regular light too, but it just emphasizes my point of, if you kind of understand to stay alive in this vehicle, it's going to pay off, right? Because look how quick I'm able to get over to the other side of the map now. We're able to clean up the T92 HMC, and watch how fast I'm able to get over here because I have this mobility mode, right? Or whatever the heck you call it, speed mode, turbo mode. I'm able to come all the way to this side of the map very quickly, and get flanking shots on like the E3 if the shot was there, right? Get shots on the E4, wherever the shots are. But you're able to get here even seconds faster than you would in another light tank. And maybe in this game it doesn't make a difference, but what I'm saying is in some games it will make a difference how quickly you are able to get to different locations on the map, because an enemy might see that you were spotted in like A1 or something, for instance, and now all of a sudden 30 seconds later you're over in A0 or E0 or something. You know what I mean? It's incredible how easy it is to like manipulate an enemy team with this vehicle, right? Because you're just able to move around the map so freaking fast, and that's where this thing excels over some other light tanks. Not just the fact that it's able to do these wild active scouting runs, it's also able to move around the map so freaking fast. I mean, you're talking basically highway speeds, at least here in America, right? 90 kilometers an hour is some, I don't know, 65, 70 miles an hour, something like that. And so you're basically doing highway speeds. And to me, this is just ridiculous. I might be off, but still, this is close. Maybe 60 miles an hour. I don't know, guys. I'm not European, but I know that this is basically highway speeds. You're moving around the map. And when you compare that to playing something like, I don't know, the mouse, like, dude, this thing is fast, right? And another thing that is very good about the EBR 105 is that you have decently high pen, I will call it, HE shells, right? Sheridan was trying to get after me here, man, and he just wasn't able to get me there. And this is the thing, you're able to move so fast, turn so fast, and now the TVP is coming after me. And luckily the STRV 103B and the TVP on my team are paying attention. We're kind of able to kind of bait this guy, if you want to call it that, right? And STRV and TVP can get the back shots into him, and we're good to go there. But our luck is not going to last this long. Eventually it is going to run out, and I'm going to go try to support these guys, but it just ends up that their team has too much HP. The Vickers is coming after me, and I do decide to run away. And here's another thing, like, look how fast I was able to get away from this Vickers, right? So here's where I make a mistake, and I decide that I'm going to go after the Vickers. So I want to surprise him, come up and over the ridgeline here. But the thing is, I end up ramming him. The EBR is so fast that when I come up over this ridgeline, I don't even have time to get the wheels on the ground fast enough and turn away from him. Because I came up over this ridgeline almost at full speed, and that's the thing, man, with playing these wheelies, is like, this is one of the downsides, is you get so much air going over ridge lines. It's more than you'd expect. And unfortunately, I end up dying here because I rammed the TVP, and I wanted to kind of hit him and dodge him and then keep running and run away. But you can see here, the Kronwagen had half HP, the E100 had about a third or quarter HP, and the E3 was full HP. I don't know if this game was winnable or carryable, plus I still had another Artie to deal with, and like, these aren't easy tanks to penetrate, right? So we might have been able to get more out of this, but I don't think I would have been able to win this. There was still a decent amount of time on the clock, but in my experience with the type of player I am, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't think there was any shot here. if I'm being straight up honest with you guys. So that's the video, guys. I mean, bear with me. I'm sorry. I'm talking a bit slower in this video. I'm quite exhausted today, but I wanted to show you guys this video and get through it. And I have one more to show you in the 105, and you guys will see that one maybe before or after this one. Here's the end plates: 2,226 spotting, 3,930 damage. And I will show you, obviously, the team score, in case you recognize anybody. I always tell you guys this. You know, we did our best here. We were top by experience and damage and all. Yes, we were. The E50 and STRV had a good amount of damage, but we actually beat them. And we got 4 kills this game, guys. But hopefully you learned a thing or two watching this video. I just want to emphasize to you guys, play this vehicle like you would play any other light in the game. Don't think that it's any different, at least not at first. When you basically get out there onto any map, don't treat the tank like it's any different at first. Just play it safely. And there are maybe a couple of maps where you can make an active run very quickly, and it'll work to the team's advantage. Like one I can think of, obviously, is Prokhorovka, right? You can just Prokhorovka. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Because, you know, there's always someone in the comments on my videos telling me how to pronounce things. You can run the ridgeline, right, on a map like Proc, and then you'll get easy spots that way, and there's no downside, right, because you can just run away. So if you know of a spot where you can make a quick active run and the chances of you losing any HP are very, very slim, then go for it. But my whole point is just to really emphasize to you guys, treat this thing like a regular light tank, save your HP for the end game, because it's going to pay off. It's very, very likely going to pay off. And don't go over ridge lines fast, you know. Definitely slow down, because sometimes you will go over a ridge line, your tires will hit on like one side of the ridge line or something weird, and then you'll do like 2 barrel rolls and end up dead. Like, probably in the maybe 90 battles I've played with this vehicle so far, I want to say 5 or 6 times I have literally killed myself just trying to like go over a small bump or a ridge line, and the tank just ends up freaking like doing something like this, you know, does like a barrel roll in midair, and I die. So also be careful with that, man. Like wargaming can't even, their freaking game mechanics system can't even keep up with these vehicles, and your internet connection half the time can't keep up with these vehicles. I swear shells go right through it when I shoot it because it's going so fast. It's like the lag, right? The very slight lag. You can't even keep up. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys. Catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.